And now, an 8th special presentation.
In this edition of Artbeat Nation, see how dance pushes boundaries.
We're about making things for the eyes and the senses and communicating through them.
Get a deeper understanding of man's best friend.
It's where you can see your favorite breed immortalized on canvas.
Meet a showgirl turned painter.
We're not only connected with viewing the audience and how we want them to feel, but how we make each other feel.
And learn how culture can infuse art and inspire the young.
It's a huge movement for them. It's a cultural expression of who they are.
It's all ahead on this edition of Artbeat Nation. Funding for Artbeat Nation is made possible by contributions to aid from viewers like you. Thank you. Motion House is an international dance troupe known for its innovative take on contemporary dance. Artist-director Kevin Finnan sheds some light on their unorthodox approach.
The company was formed in the 1980s, and the house scene was happening. There was house dances, and there was a lot of underground art really resurfacing again. It was a fun time. And we wanted a name that would capture our spirit of bringing everything together under one roof and trying to make something new. Motion House. I suppose one of the key ways that we differ from a lot of dance artists is we always start from a theatrical image. We have imagery that we want to communicate and content and theming. And so we start from our visual world and then we evolve our movement language to go with that for each show. We're a spectacular art. We're about making things for the eyes and the senses and communicating through them. And then it's about welding this visual world that we're drawing on from European theatre and all of the great work that's out there, and then putting that into a very visceral, physical context so that we really push the physicality in our works. Scattered is a show whereby I wanted to make a show about water. And what fascinates me is that in our Western environment, it's on tap, literally. I showed to my kids, I was in the bathroom one day, I turned the tap on, I said, look at this, fantastic. And my kids' eyes rolled up in their heads, and I'm like, yeah, it's a tap, Dad. And of course, they don't see the magic of just having water on tap. So therefore, it comes down to that key moment of realizing I am distanced from the reality of what it takes to get fresh water to my house whenever I want it. So I want to make a show where I go, look, I'm going to stop for a minute and go, this is bloody marvellous. This is fantastic. So I make a show about my experience of trying to look at water again. Sometimes some of the imagery is about the beauty of water, it's its sensuousness. There's bits about the show that's about the chemical bonding process of H2O and all the rest of it. But it really doesn't matter if you get those things. It's about how you engage with the theme. Because at the end of the show, if you're thinking about water, then the show served its purpose. We tread a line where we go, and it has its pitfalls and its dangers, where we consider the engagement with the audience, and we consider the type of imagery we use and the duration and the editing and the speed, and all of that has really been informed from working outdoors. We consider, and sometimes we go, you know what, we're going to help them out here, we're going to do this for the audience. And then in other parts we're going to go, I really want to challenge them here, so I'm going to give them something to give them a bit of confidence in us. We're going to challenge them, and then I'm going to bring them back somewhere so they feel that they know where they are. There's lots of art now about, you know, altering ourselves surgically, or we all think of robots or that sort of thing. Nobody thinks about the person working on the construction site with a machine, digging a trench to within an inch of specification, being able to manipulate over different grounds and move. And the way that that person moves that machine is a thing, when you have a skilled operator, of intense beauty. So we started making these machine dances with machines that I think that in the US are referred to as backhoes, where we would dance with them and on them. We would create movement language for them. The machines would pick us up and pass us between machines. We engaged with it. And the machine dance was really a whole exploration of going, look, what is dancing and what is a body? So it had a serious intellectual underpinning to it. But actually, when we made the show, you get huge audiences and you get loads of kids come along. They don't care about what a body is or whatever. They're just having a great time looking at the spectacle of these machines dancing and moving. But for other people, there is the potential for them to read further into it. And I always really liked the two sites. We got one of the largest commissions of the Cultural Olympiad was to create a show for the Voyage. So in the middle of Birmingham, we created a full-sized ship. We built a passenger liner, 4 stories high, in between the big colonial buildings and the city hall, right in the middle of the city. It was an enormous spectacle on its own. And then we projected onto the ship and onto the buildings around a whole fundamental story of why do people journey. The Voyage was very interesting because, again, it was like, okay, we're going to create spectacle, but it's got to be engaging. Because spectacle has become a dirty word in theatre because it's the empty spectacle. It's nothing but its appearance. I think today is the era of spectacle, again, the way it speaks to us on a direct level. To make something on that scale, which is emotionally engaging, was one of the great moments in my career. It's kind of interesting because you know that you can't top it, and then you go, well, maybe I should stop. But actually, last year taught me a lot of new things, and I want to bring those into the work. And touring here and getting the reaction of audiences here to the show that we are touring, you go, oh, that's so interesting, that works, that was. I want to put that in the next show.
You can find out more at motionhouse.co.uk. St. Louis, Missouri is home to a fine arts museum devoted to man's best friend. The Museum of the Dog houses over 700 pieces of canine-themed art, exploring the relationship between man and beast throughout the ages.
A dog museum is a museum devoted solely to canines. It's the only dog museum of its kind in the world. It's a fine arts museum. So we have paintings, bronzes, porcelains, decorative arts, artifacts, all relating to man's best friend. And it's where you can see your favorite breed immortalized on canvas. There was a group of interested people back in the 1970s who got together and said, you know, there's all of this beautiful dog art out there in private collections in various places. There must be enough to sustain a particular museum that we could have a dog museum and bring it all together in one place to share with everybody. And that's pretty much the premise behind the Dog Museum. The Dog Museum is housed in Jarville House in Queenie Park, West St. Louis County. Jarville House dates from 1853, a fabulous antebellum home, absolutely gorgeous. The collection is comprised primarily of 19th century, early 20th century pieces, but of course dog painting, dog art has been around long before that. These two objects are probably the oldest pieces in the Dog Museum's collection. These are Japanese temple dogs, and they date from the 1500s. They would have at one time more than likely adorned a temple in some way, but probably to ward off evil spirits. You can see there's a little bit of a menacing look to their face, and it would have been to make the bad things, the bad spirits, go away. They would have also been much more brightly painted at one time, and a lot of that has been lost, but the character of the pieces are certainly still here. This is a portrait of a pointer, painted by the French artist Jean-Baptiste Udry. It dates from the mid-1700s. It's one of the earlier paintings in the museum's collection.
Particularly interesting about the museum's collection is how it documents the evolving relationship between dogs and humans throughout history.
At one point, the dog was primarily a working dog, a working companion, because he was a hunter, a guardian, a herding dog, a dog that was used to protect flocks of sheep, cattle, and so forth. He helped earn his keep in some way, and the dog was very prized for that ability. And so a lot of times you would have someone who might commission a painting or a drawing of their dog because they wanted to show off their prized hunting dog. Then Queen Victoria came along, and Queen Victoria loved and adored animals. She had many, many, many dogs, and she commissioned the best artists of the time to paint portraits of her pets. So out of the Victorian age, you have this cornucopia of really fine dog painting. This is one of the premier paintings in the Dog Museum's collection. This is by Sir Edwin Henry Landseer. He was one of the favorite court painters of Queen Victoria. This does not happen to be of the Queen's dogs, but very typical of dogs you would have seen in the Scottish Highlands, your deerhound and your foxhound. And I think when you look at this particular piece, you can see how absolutely impressive it is. And he's used all sorts of things here in the composition which draw your eye to the focal point, which would be the portraits of the two dogs. So you have this angle of the deerhound's legs, which guide you up this way. And it shows a sentimentality between the two dogs. There's sort of a relationship here, a story. It's not just a static portrait, a confirmation portrait. So, you know, the artist is telling you something. And what is he telling you here? He's saying that the dogs have emotions. They have feelings. They interact with each other as well as with humans. This is a large painting by Richard Ansdell. It's titled The Poacher, dates from 1865. And this is a really nice example of a tie dog. The large dog here in the middle was a Mastiff. And these dogs were tied by day and let loose by night to patrol private properties and estates. And we know that it was a tied dog because the artist has purposely put this really large ring on the collar, identifying this dog, this Mastiff, as a tie dog. This is a perfect example of the quintessential pet portrait. This is painted by William Henry Hamilton Trude, and it dates from 1888. And we see a variety of breeds depicted in an interior scene, and you can see all the different types of working dogs. But here they are shown inside in an interior scene. And that really reflects the changing attitude of the role of the dog from perhaps just solely a working dog to a canine companion, a member of the family, someone who was with you in the house.
Some of the paintings are as much reflections of humans as they are depictions of pets.
Anthropomorphism was very popular in the 19th century, and what that was when you gave human attributes to animals. And so we relate to that, and we, of course, find it whimsical. And we have a presidential pet portrait. This is of George Bush and First Lady Barbara Bush's dog, Millie, shown on the south lawn of the White House.
There are galleries that highlight the courage of war dogs and police canine units, a dog hall of fame, and memorabilia that reminds us of some of our favorite furry Hollywood stars.
The museum also has some fascinating artifacts, such as this incredible Palladian-style doghouse by the well-known architect Juan Pablo Molyneux, who has studios in Paris and New York City. And then where else can you see a Mastiff carousel figure? This was created by the Louvre factory. It dates from the 19th century, and it was actually an item used on a merry-go-round. And in addition, we have this charming child's cart. This also dates from the 19th century, and children would have used this to play with, and it would have been pulled by a dog. And we can see an example of a painting up here on the wall where you actually have a cart that's being pulled by a Mastiff and a small steer.
It is a museum dedicated not only to fine art, but to the special bond that has endured between our two species for centuries, founded on love and friendship, loyalty, work, and play.
This is the perfect venue for the Dog Museum because dogs are part of the family. They're a member of the family. And to see their portraits displayed in a home setting as opposed to maybe just blank white walls in a larger gallery, doesn't mean as much. To have them here in a home, it makes it much more personal and it makes more sense for this collection.
To learn more, visit museumofthedog.org. Artist Terry Ritter once performed on the Las Vegas Strip as a showgirl. Today, she's turning her passion for dance into works of art. Her mural, Follies in Flight, now welcomes millions of international visitors to Las Vegas's McCarran Airport every year.
My name is Terry Ritter, and I'm an artist. I am from Las Vegas, Nevada. I work in watercolor, oils, acrylics, and sculpting. The mural I got commissioned to do is at the McCarran Airport in the new terminal, the International Customs area.
Everybody is so excited. I'm excited. It's going in.
It's dancers from the Folies Bergère, and the girls are running through each other and having interaction. And yeah, it's a 50-foot mural of showgirls, but in the 1983 costume that Jerry Jackson had designed. We installed it in 2 weeks. I had a really good crew of people, and I had a great architect, and he helped me get the people who I needed to get, and I kind of hand-picked who was going to do what, and I wanted to know them personally, and we worked together too. It wasn't all me.
I'm just putting on the finishing touches of this mural. It's very textured and it's very organic. It's a representation of the Las Vegas showgirl.
I had always gone to school to be an artist since I was 9. That's what I was going to do. I always liked to draw. It was easy for me. I just knew how to do that. I was always interested in art. I got into dancing. I saw ballet. And then afterward, I got to meet the performers in the ballet. And I said, I want to look like that. I didn't know what you had to do or whatever. But I started taking classes. This was the perfect place in Las Vegas to do that because the best of the best came here. These are real people, not just paintings. They would pose for me backstage. I was really fortunate to be in the right place, the right time, put in the work, and landed a job and a small review. And we were a shorter line of girls. They call them pony dancers. She's a fashion designer, and she's married. The first show I worked in was called The Wild World of Burlesque by Rocky Senes, and I worked there for a long time, on and off for like 15 years, and we did various shows. Keep Smiling America and the Roaring Twenties, and I worked for Jerry Jackson and Pinups at the Movies. And dancing was never, still, you're always moving. So to create that has always been my kind of my goal. Being a dancer, you're looking in the mirror all the time. You're always looking at lines. You're looking where your elbows are. You're looking where your shoulders are. We are really connected. When we are on stage, we're not only connected with viewing the audience and how we want them to feel, but how we make each other feel on stage. The mural is a lot about that, and some of the scenes I've done with the girls backstage or in show, that we are playing with each other, we're playing off each other, and so you kind of inspire each other. My dance community, just the support I got, and they all came for my ribbon cutting ceremony I had there It was just overwhelming. It was like I was walking down the aisle on my wedding day and I look at my mother, you know. I would just start to bawl because someone who had supported me all these years, and they were all so proud of me. It was just, I still get teary-eyed thinking about it. So it was such an honor, and I felt I represented my community and my arts community. If you have a passion, pursue it. You know, it doesn't matter if you make money at it, and if you can only do it on weekends or whatever, you know, and keep those demons away from you not doing it, because you can do it. Anybody can do it. That's it.
Terry Ritter recently published a book of her paintings called Stage Life, The Show Must Go On. It can be found along with her other work on terryritter.com. Walt Poirier is a painter and designer who incorporates his Native American culture into his art. Through his art, Poirier strengthens local communities and offers guidance to kids.
You're not a human on a spiritual journey, you're a spirit on a human journey. I like to paint ravens. Ravens from the Lakota prophecy are seen as the messenger to the other side. They take our messages to and from the spirit world. The Denver Art Museum Artist in Residency program, it's just been such an honor to be a part of it. Not only to showcase some of the fine arts that I'm working on, but it's also just this huge opportunity to show youth what they can do with careers and what they can do with the arts and fine art and graphic arts and so on and so on. Now you gotta sing too. Here's how you sing. The program itself is unbelievable because you're right here on a Native American level where all the art out there shows a lot of our past. In this space that I'm in today, we're showing a lot of the current. We say telling our stories of old through the new creative means of today. The way they used to tell the stories in the old days was on buffalo hides and on the sides of the teepees, on drums. They were being expressive about who they were at that time through these means of that time. So what are these expressive means for them today, and how can they tell those stories and those cultural identities of who they are through today's means? If they see they can put a graphic they created of Sitting Bull, or if they could take any of their particular tribe's cultural identities and turn it into graphics and show it as an identity of this is me, this is who I am, on a skateboard deck, that's pretty powerful for them. The Stronghold Society is actually a place in South Dakota in the Badlands, and we say this is a live life call to action campaign. And not only do we teach them the fine arts and the graphic sides and the expressive means of writing and music and art, design, film, photography, we also do it through the skateboard movement, which is really huge for them right now. So we built them a skate park too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and then they have something to skate. We're able to build these skate parks in Indian country and then come back and do these huge creative things at the parks as well. The youth start to see there's more to this than just skateboarding. There's more to this than just fine arts. It's a huge movement for them. It's a cultural expression of who they are and what they represent. So for our Native youth today, that's really huge. What I really like about fine art painting is that you can just be expressive to however you want to be. There's no limits to it. There's really no rules to it. So you could just paint. My philosophy of the art is more on that cultural side of it, expressive, making an impact. I find that today it's far more important to have positive, focused messages. I think arts has the ability to change a mindset of an individual.
To learn more about Poirier's art, visit NakotaDesigns.com. For more arts and culture, visit azpbs.org/artbeat, where you'll find featured videos and information on the Arizona art scene. Funding for Artbeat Nation was made possible by contributions to aid from viewers like you. Thank you.